Okay, what's going on, everybody? We are here. We are live. I want to thank you all for joining me today. If you can see and hear me clearly, please drop a one in the live chat, and then we can get today's stream started. And as I'm waiting for the ones to come into the live chat, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like button because that's the most important thing you can do for me on this channel. What it does, that helps make sure that those who are subscribed to the channel will indeed get their notifications, and it also helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm as well. Secondly, if you're new to the channel, or maybe you've been ghost watching this channel for quite some time now, all right, I see you ghost watchers watching my videos and not subscribing, please do me a favor and yourself a favor by hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And lastly, please make sure you share this video out on your social media platforms to your family and friends to inform them on this news and information. And yes, that does help to give me a slight boost in the YouTube algorithm as well. And with the introduction out the way, let's get the show started. I want to get things started and let's get things moving. So you all saw the title of today's show, right? And you all saw the title within the thumbnail of today's stream. Trump is winning and they're mad. Now, I want to make sure to couch my statements by saying this first. In my opinion, I assume, I humbly believe that Trump is indeed winning this race. And he's winning very comfortably. And I'm going to get into the information that leads me to believe this. But I did want to make sure to say that first. It is in my opinion, I assume, just in case the misinformation police are watching, because if you didn't know, and we're going to get into this at the end of the stream and coming towards the end of the stream, yes, the Biden administration is back again. Biden is leading the charge with the return of Russian bots, right? But we're going to get into that later. We're going to get into the Russian bot stuff later. I first want to go through a couple of videos first. And what I want to go through first is this. I want to pull up this CNN video. Let's go through this CNN video very quickly because a lot of interesting comments were made, particularly from Trump and from Kamala Harris concerning the polling and how the race is actually going. But first, what we're going to do is, as we get into this, we're going to listen to this correspondent here, I believe is Cassie Hunt, discuss how tight the race is in battleground states. And then we're going to get into what Harris and Trump actually have to say concerning polling.
There are just 62 days until Election Day and 6 days until Kamala Harris and Donald Trump meet on the debate stage in Philadelphia. And there are just 2 days, yes, 2, until the first mail-in ballots will be sent out. Voters are going to be voting. New CNN polling released just this morning shows a race that is truly neck and neck among likely voters in key battleground states. Harris holds a lead over Trump in Wisconsin and Michigan. In Arizona, Trump holds the lead. In nearby Nevada, there's no clear leader. And in what are arguably the two most critical states, well, it's a tie. There is no clear leader in Georgia, and it is dead even in the must-win state of Pennsylvania. Around 15% of likely voters in these swing states say they are open to changing their mind about which candidate they will support. On average, about 2/3 of likely voters in these states say they're extremely motivated to vote in November. And here is where you see evidence that Harris's momentum is from getting the Democratic base voters excited. In Michigan, 72% of Democratic-aligned registered voters say they're extremely motivated to vote. That is up from 58% back in March. This new CNN polling shows that the race to 270, the path to the White House, runs straight through Georgia and Pennsylvania. If Trump holds North Carolina and wins both of those states, then he can lose Michigan, Wisconsin, and Nevada. It wouldn't matter. If Kamala Harris wins Pennsylvania and she holds Wisconsin and Michigan, she only needs one more electoral vote to get over the top. She's looking at you, Omaha. And the post-Labor Day sprint kicks into high gear. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are sounding two very different tones. Watch.
Now pay attention to this. What she just stated is that this is a very close race, particularly as it pertains to the battleground states. Listen to what Trump and Harris are getting ready to say. Trump is going to speak first, then following up is going to be Kamala Harris. And shout out to Papa Onaya Shelley for 11 months of service. I appreciate you for being a channel member for 11 months. Thank you for the support that you have shown me for that time being. I appreciate you. So I appreciate you so much, Shelley. Thank you very much.
I can't believe that that's going to be a close election. You know, we're leading in the polls, and it looks close, but I think in the end, it's not going to be a close election.
We are the underdog in this race. And we have some hard work then ahead of us. But here's the beauty of us in this room. We like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is joyful work.
All right.
It is so hard listening to Kamala Harris speak. God, it's just annoying. I can't stand it. Now, hear me out. And I have another video that I want to play to complement this one, right? All we have heard since Kamala Harris took the place of Joe Biden is that Kamala Harris is crushing Trump. That's all we ever hear. If you go on Google right now and you just type in polling alone or polls, what you're going to see is a wall of DNC news outlets telling you that Kamala Harris is leading here, Kamala Harris is leading there, she's leading everywhere. If you let MSNBC tell it, she's leading by 1,000 points, 1,001 to be exact. Excuse me. I don't want to undercount MSNBC, also known and better known as MSDNC. If you let them tell it, she's winning by 1,001 points, and it's going to be the greatest landslide victory we've seen in American history, right? And if we're just coming back to what this woman here is saying on CNN, it's a close race. But you have Trump saying, polling is showing that I'm winning. It's a close race, but I'm winning. Kamala Harris is saying we're the underdogs. Where are they getting their information from? Because once again, if you leave it up to the mainstream media press, with the exception of, I don't know, Fox News and New York Post, Kamala Harris is destroying Trump. Well, clearly, if you don't know, a lot of people aren't familiar with internal polling. They're getting their information, in my opinion, I assume, from internal polling. Because clearly the polling that Trump has and the polling that Kamala Harris has doesn't match the wall of news outlets that say that Kamala Harris is apparently crushing Trump at every aspect of this election. That is the only reason that Kamala Harris would be saying that we're the underdog and Trump would be reporting that polling is showing that I'm winning. It's a close one, but I'm winning. They're referencing internal polls. Internal polls are polls that are commissioned by the campaign to get a look at the landscape concerning who's winning and who's not. It's just simply internal polls. It's self-explanatory. I don't have to over-explain, right? But to complement this video and to complement my assessment, I want to pull up another video as well that indicates to me that Trump is 100% winning. 100% winning this race, barring the 2020 magic. And for those of you who don't know what 2020 magic is, ask someone in the live chat, ask someone in the comment section. They'll explain to you what I mean by 2020 magic. But I want to get into this clip right quick, very next also. And shout out to my man, JD Informant, for coming through with the super chat. I appreciate you, JD Informant, and for you also being a channel member. Oh, and JD Informant ran it back one more time. He said, work, ? You mean wasting gas and time to vote Harris. Facts. I appreciate you, JD Informant, for all the love you show me on this channel. Thank you, bro. Now let's get into this clip right here. This really highlights and complements the discussion that we're having now, as well as what they're saying here on CNN. Let me pull this up for you right now.
National political correspondent.
Let me rewind it back just a little bit.
Let's bring in our national political correspondent, Steve Kornacki, break it down. Let's start with the state of the race from a national perspective as we head into this final stretch.
Yeah, here we go, Savannah. So this is the average of all of the polls that are out there nationally right now. And you see Kamala Harris, the vice president, with a 3-point lead over Donald Trump. Two ways to look at this. If you're a Democrat, obviously you're happy you're ahead, and it's an improvement from when Joe Biden was the candidate. He trailed Donald Trump all year. But if you're a Republican, you could take solace in this. This is not unfamiliar territory for Donald Trump. Labor Day 2020, he trailed Joe Biden by 9. He almost came back to win that race. 2016, he trailed Hillary Clinton by 5 on Labor Day. he did come back to win.
So Harris has actually it's a tighter national margin. But as we know, these elections are determined state by state in these battleground states. So let's look at a state of the race there.
Yeah, let's go through now. 7.
Okay, let's pause before we get to what they're going to speak to next. I really want to highlight this because this is extremely important and it speaks volumes. Let me take a moment to remove myself from the screen because I really want you to see this right now. And also, if you haven't, please hit the like button. That is extremely important. Please smash that like button. It helps to push this video through the YouTube algorithm. Thank you very much for that. In 2020, Biden was we'll start with Hillary Clinton. In 2016, Hillary Clinton was leading by 5 points. In 2020, Biden was leading by 9 points. But as we can see here, wind it back just a little bit, Kamala Harris is leading Trump by only 3 points. Kamala Harris is trailing Biden and she's trailing Hillary Clinton. Why is that significant? Because in both instances, when Biden was leading by 9 points, he barely pulled it off. He barely pulled it off. And a lot of people question certain things around that. And I can't really talk about that on YouTube too much. You got to be careful, Trump hands. You got to be careful. But with a 9-point lead, allegedly, he just barely beat Trump. Just barely. That's right. 2020 magic. Yeah, 2020 magic. And in 2016, when Hillary Clinton had a 5-point lead, Trump just won. He won. So with a 5-point lead, Trump won. With a 9-point lead, Trump barely lost. What does that tell you? Kamala Harris with merely a 3-point lead, trailing behind Biden and Hillary Clinton. Harris lost. She's going to lose. Because if history continues to repeat itself concerning these pollings and how Trump supporters show up and show out every election by the numbers, right? How does that saying go? If past performance dictates present whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. If past performance dictates future something, dictates future performance, you all know what I mean. And I don't have to over-explain it because I feel like I'm over-explaining it right now. You all get it. She's done. She's done. She is finished. And I want to highlight the fact that she's finished by continuing on with this video here. I want to continue to play what they state here concerning polling and how Trump is continuously and consistently, election after election, they underestimate him polling wise. So let's carry on.
Allison, this is not unfamiliar territory for Donald Trump. Labor Day 2020, he trailed Joe Biden by 9. He almost came back to win that race. 2016, he trailed Hillary Clinton by 5 on Labor Day. He did come back to win.
So Harris has it's a tighter national margin. But as we know, these elections are determined state by state in these battleground states. So let's look at a state of the race there.
Yeah, let's go through now. 7.
I'm sorry. Shout out to my man Norm for interrupting the stream. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you, bro. I gotta highlight my man Norm. This is my brother right here. Divine 9 Army in the building. He said, let that sister Kamala Harris cook. Kamala 2024, Divine 9 in the building. Man, get out of here, bro. Get out of here with that. Get out of here. That's my vote blue, no matter who, friend right there. We were supposed to be making America great together, but he turned on me for Kamala Harris. We're going to talk about it, man. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to call you. Oh, man, but I appreciate you, bro, for the support.
Battleground states. You can memorize this list at home.
Now let's get back to the battleground states right here. Let me highlight this before my homie interrupted me.
Let's Let's go through now 7 battleground states. You can memorize this list at home. We're going to talk about them a lot between now and November. But the key here is that 6 of these 7 states all went for Joe Biden in 2020. North Carolina, the only who went for Trump. And you see right now, the polling is tight in just about all of them. Trump ahead narrowly in Georgia, North Carolina. Small Harris leads, except take a look here, like in Wisconsin, Harris on average leading by 6. This is important to note. The polling was off in states like Wisconsin in 2020 and 2016. It underestimated Trump's support. Whether it does that again this time around, a major question.
That made a huge.
You see, so they're highlighting in 2020 and in 2016, as it pertains to Wisconsin, they underestimated Trump. He was underestimated. But once again, if we're going by past performance, that means that the polling consistently, election after election, drastically underestimates Trump. Drastically. Whether that be from some sort of response bias or whether it be from within the polling that's being conducted, Democrats, those that are voting Democrats, are overrepresented in the polling. What the data and the information that has been presented to us past and present is showing, it is showing us that the polling, in fact, is not fair to Trump and consistently underestimate Trump. Consistently. So if you go back to the fact, once again, that back in 2016, Clinton was winning by 5 points according to the polls, and she lost. And then in 2020, Biden was winning by 9 points, and he barely pulled it off. What does that tell you about the 2024 polling concerning Kamala Harris only being up by 3 points, trailing behind Biden and trailing behind Clinton? She lost. She's going to lose. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. He's winning. Their internal polling shows that he's winning. And it's very clear and obvious based off the data that is being presented to us, past and present, based off of also, for going off past performance. It's very clear that Trump is winning and Trump is going to win. That's if there is no 2020 magic. And that's also if my brother comes back on to the red side with me and makes America great again. Forget that Divine Nine Army, bro. Throw that AKA skewy stuff in the trash. You got to get it out of here. Okay, Norm, got to get it out of here, man. Come on over. Let's make America great again. All right, let me hold on just a second. You know, I don't think my man knows this yet. Hold on just a second, bro. I think he's fallen victim to the, all the DNC media. I don't know if you know this, Norm, but Donald Trump, he loved the black population.
I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country.
He loved the black population. And he's the greatest president for black folks since Abraham Lincoln.
I have been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln.
All right, man. Come on, man. Come on home, Norm. Come on home, bro. Come on home. Oh, man. Come on home, bro. But anyways, going back to the point, right? Going back to the point. Everybody knows he's winning. Democrats know he's winning. Internal polling shows he's winning, right? Everyone knows this. So what happens next, right? This is where I put my, tinfoil hat on for a moment, because I just feel like this is too convenient. This is too convenient to me that as this information is coming out, as this type of this understanding is being had, and the obvious is coming to light concerning Trump, now all of a sudden, here we go with the official rollout of Russian bots, Russian disinformation by way of Biden. Let's get into this here. And of course, where was the news broken first? Where was it broadcasted at first? MSDNC, of course. That's not even a surprise. Let's get into this right here.
Biden administration taking a series of actions to target what they allege are attempts by Russian-backed actors to manipulate public opinion here in the U.S. ahead of the presidential election, according to two senior U.S. officials. Joining us now is NBC's Ken Delanian. Ken, what more have we learned?
Jose, this is being described by our sources as a whole of government action designed to target Russian propaganda and disinformation aimed at interfering in the 2024 election. It is said to include sanctions by the Treasury Department, law enforcement action by the Justice Department, and one of the focuses is on RT, formerly known as Russia Today, that network of Russian government-funded English-language websites and television platforms that was flagged all the way back in 2017 by the U.S. intelligence community as a vehicle for Russian disinformation and election interference. And at that time, the Justice Department required RT to register as a foreign agent. It remains to be seen exactly what actions the U.S. will take against RT today, but this does appear to represent an escalation in the efforts to try to purge the system of Russian propaganda and disinformation.
They're really running the same play over again. That is unbelievable. I'm going to let it play. There's probably about a minute and a half left, but they already have the excuses lined up. They already have the excuses lined up and ready to go. In the event that Trump pulls it off, which, barring 2020 magic, clearly he's going to win. And that's just obvious based off the information that we're going off of. Now, here we go with the excuses. Now, here we go rolling out the Russian bot narrative again, a la Joe Biden's administration. And we're going to speak a little bit about his administration in closing. But let's finish this video up.
What's interesting is that, look, the U.S. has been saying all along that not only Russia, but Iran and China, but particularly Russia, has been consistently trying to manipulate American public opinion with disinformation on social media platforms, use of fake accounts, and through RT, through its state-sponsored platforms, as they did in 2016. The difference now is that there are mechanisms in place, particularly on the social media platforms, to try to stop and flag fake accounts before the influence operations spread too widely. So it remains to be seen what impact this Russian disinformation is having. But nonetheless, this is a stance by the Biden administration to say if you're violating U.S. laws and policies, we're going to come after you. And Attorney General Merrick Garland is expected to chair a meeting of the government's election task force today, this afternoon, with FBI Director Chris Wray and other officials, and he may have public comments to make about this effort at that time, Jose.
Completely ridiculous and nonsensical. The Biden administration, as well as Democrats as a whole, are a group who is not to be trusted. These people are 100% against freedom of speech. They false flag everything as misinformation just simply for not agreeing with you. And as it pertains specifically to the Biden administration, this is an administration who has been corrupt from the jump as it pertains to forcing social media companies to false flag misinformation and disinformation to take down social media pages. This must never be forgotten. The admission of Mark Zuckerberg concerning his relationship with the Biden administration and how the Biden administration twisted Mark Zuckerberg's arm to make sure that on Facebook, they false flag misinformation on posts in order to remove them, to assist Biden in his efforts to become president, which he eventually became. Let's get into this right here.
Critics have taken aim at Facebook for silencing views that challenge the general consensus in the medical community, especially about the origin of COVID-19. Now Facebook's founder surprisingly says they're right.
This morning, Meta chief Mark Zuckerberg admitting he bowed to pressure from the Biden administration to censor content. The Facebook founder issuing a letter to the House Judiciary Committee that said senior administration officials pushed the social media platform to censor posts about COVID-19 and expressed a lot of frustration when the company resisted. Zuckerberg saying, "I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it," adding, "I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again." Overnight, the White House responded to Zuckerberg's letter. "Our position has been clear and consistent. We believe tech companies and other private actors should take into account the effects their actions have on the American people, while making independent choices about the information they present." Zuckerberg going on to express regret for demoting content related to corruption allegations against Hunter Biden ahead of the 2020 election, alleging the FBI warned information circulating online was a Russian disinformation operation. It's since been made clear.
Let's run that again. Let's run that part again. Coming off of the return of Russian disinformation.
Corruption allegations against Hunter Biden ahead of the 2020 regret for demoting content related to corruption allegations against Hunter Biden ahead of the 2020 election, alleging the FBI warned information circulating online was a Russian disinformation operation. It's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story.
They're all about the false flagging of misinformation and disinformation. They're all about the silencing of free speech. They're all about the policing of social media and apparently holding social media companies accountable, right? Essentially meaning wanting to completely take them down completely. If another narrative, if a counterpoint is being spoken, the only point that matters to them is the DNC point. The only one who should have a voice, the only people that should be able to speak are those who take the DNC position. Anybody else outside of the DNC position is misinformation, disinformation. Demote them, demonetize them, eliminate their channel, eliminate their social media accounts, get them out of here. And I want to play this in closing as a clip that I found on, of all places, the Disinformation Central, Twitter, now known as X, of Kamala Harris just kind of speaking on social media and what her view is for social media. Let's get into this in closing.
The Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community.
You tell me what you think she means by that. You tell me what you think she means by that. And with all that being said, that does it for today's stream. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Please hit the like button on your way out if you haven't already. And I just want to take a moment to give out my thank yous. I want to take a moment to give out my thank yous for those of you who have supported the show today. You know, I have to thank my supporters. And to do that, I got a little something special for you guys. This is my new outro whenever I'm reading the super chats at the end. All right. I just want to take a moment to give my thank yous. Don't leave just yet, but hit the subscribe button while you're waiting for me to upload what I'm trying to upload. Okay. So for all of you who supported today's show, this is for you.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
You better thank a union member for the super chat. You better thank a union member for the channel memberships. You better thank a union member for the support you get on this channel. I want to thank you guys, okay? I just want to thank you guys.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time.
TD, you better thank everybody before you shut this stream down. So let me thank everybody one time, okay? Let me thank everybody one more time. Shout out to Papa Onaya Shelly. I thanked you early. Shout out to my man JD Informant for running it back twice. Shout out to my brother Norm. I'm gonna hit you up later, and I'm gonna bring you back over to the Make America Great Again side. I'm gonna hit you up before this week ends, bro. If you're still watching, I appreciate the support, man. Thank you, man. Shout out to Craig Visions. Craig Visions said there is a pending sentencing currently scheduled for September 18th. They may try to use that to try and stop Trump. Is the September 18th sentencing, is that for the hush money trial? I would assume that you're speaking about the hush money trial. I would assume that that's what you're talking about. We'll see how that plays out. I mean, he's definitely not going to, that would be insane, but they're not going to put him in jail before the election starts. That would be ridiculous if they did. They pretty much just handed him the election, even though he's already winning based off the information that we went over. But we'll see. That's going to be interesting. If you're speaking about what I think you're talking about, that's going to be interesting. September 18th. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Anthony Forrest, who said, no way these polls are right. They are rigged by the Democrats. Check out the Rasmussen report. They have Trump up. I'll check them out. I'll check out the Rasmussen report, man. I appreciate the support, Anthony. Shout out to GJ for the super chat. GJ said, do you think he will be sentenced in September? Okay, so we're all talking about the same thing. Sentenced in September. I mean, if it's scheduled for him to be sentenced on September 18th, the sentencing is going to happen. Right? It's going to happen. Now, whether or not he'll get jail time, he's not going to get jail time. That's not going to happen. They're not going to sentence him to any type of jail time. That just isn't happening. I would be floored. I would be shocked and floored if they gave him jail time. He's not getting jail time. That just isn't happening. So do I believe that he's going to be getting? No, that's not going to happen. But thank you, GJ. And shout out to Jet Black, who said, seems like Hunter would end up in a crime jungle. I actually had a video that I was supposed to release today on Hunter Biden. For those of you who don't know, he pled guilty to tax evasion or tax fraud or something like that. He had a federal tax case. He pled guilty to those cases, so he doesn't have to go to trial because basically that trial he would have been found guilty. It would just like with the gun charges. But what would have happened was more crazy stories. I think it was an NBC article that I read concerning that. The prosecutors had 24 witnesses on standby ready to testify against Biden. 24 witnesses to testify against Hunter Biden. And it would have just been a barrage of just insane story after insane story after insane story concerning Hunter Biden going on his, binges, you know what I mean? And spending $1.4 million in money that he was supposed to be paying in taxes to all type of other foolishness, you know what I mean? So, we'll see what happens with him. But anyway, that does it for today's show, man. Thank you all for joining me today. If you're watching on Twitter, please migrate over to TD Media Group, the actual main channel, so you can participate in the live stream or in the lively live chat. If you're watching on Rumble, thank you very much to those of you who are watching on Rumble. And I saw somebody in the comment section who said, they're weary of me because, TD is Jamaican. I'm not Jamaican. I'm not Jamaican at all. That's a fact. I'm not Jamaican. I'm actually Chinese. So with that being said, I'll see you guys later. Peace.